Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I am your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And tonight our guest is running late, but that's okay. I told him the show starts at 7, so I'm sure he was going to just show up at 7 instead of like 6:30 like I do or something. Kyle actually comes out here like a day before. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I always try to beat Kyle in the studio, but he's always seems to beat me. Probably, I don't know what your plan is. But anyways, so we have a really exciting guest. You know, we have guests from different types of like walks of life, like different stories and all this stuff. And this is going to be our first boxing guest that comes on. So
interesting.
he was supposed to come on a couple weeks ago. He went to Mexico for training and to do a couple fights. And I wanted to have him come on before that, but we had other guests lined up. We did our thing. So he just came back, and he's going to talk a little bit about his training and a little bit about his fights and what it's like to be a Christian athlete.
Christian athlete. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I met him, we're just little kids, man. Back in the day in high school, going to parties, you know, and not that I forgot about him, but it's just like he wasn't, you know, around my life. So
Right.
I was at the gym with Mark, and I'm walking around, and he's like, Sam Works? And I looked back, and I was like, oh. And he was like, do you remember me? And I was like, well, to be honest, I remember your face. I just don't remember your name. And he was like, oh, it's AJ. And I was like, oh, what's up, dude? And if my mom is probably listening right now, so this is probably a really bad story. It's gonna make me sound bad. But he was like, yeah, dude, you let me like hop in the trunk of your car at a party one time. And so it's like it's just one of those moments, you know, and that's kind of how we started becoming friends. You know.
Hey, that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah, it's whatever works, you know. Because the car was full, we didn't have enough, you know, seats. So he was like, hop in the trunk. Anyways, so we started catching up. He's a boxer now. He's making his way up to be a professional boxer. Super excited for him. He has changed so much in terms of like in the physical sense, and I'm sure in a mental and spiritual sense as well. He's looking good, dude.
Yeah.
He's looking good. He's fighting good, and I'm like, I'm rooting for him. I really am. Not just because I know him, but because like the work that I see. If you guys go on his Instagram, which when he comes in, he'll share it. Watch his videos, watch his fights. He's a really great guy. He's very humble.
Okay.
And he's a killer, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to, you know, call in, if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to be part of the show, you guys can call this number.
888-909-1050. That is 888-909-1050.
And since we're stalling, we might as well do the
Our sponsor,
yes.
SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
Just feel good music. Yeah. That's kind of like, that's what we do every time. It's pretty cool. So until he gets here, we're just going to catch up a little bit. You said you had a lot of people that are going to be watching the show today.
Yeah,
Super
definitely,
excited. You know, one thing I wanted to do that we didn't get to do this week, we'll do it next week, is handing out our flyers again.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna talk about. I was like, hey, you know, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah. So for what we do, we actually go by businesses. We started off in Mentone. We started working in Redlands, and you know, we're dropping off our flyers. We're having businesses line up, you know, come to talk about their business on our show. So if you guys have a business, or if you guys have a story you guys would like to tell, or you just want to come on the radio and chop it up,
yourself,
you guys can come in. We have a website.
Yeah.
Our
That's
website is
kcaaww.com.
Yeah. And then we also have an Instagram.
That's at KCAA, whatever works.
Yes, sir. And if you guys want to go back and listen to any of our previous shows, you guys can go to Spotify, Apple Music, or even YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, just KCAA TV on YouTube, and then find whatever works under there.
Yes, sir. So, how's your week right now, Kyle?
Week's going good. Work's going really good. I've been traveling to the desert cities a lot, so I've been chilling out there, just kind of.
Mr. House Inspector, right?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Lots of properties, multi-million-dollar properties last week.
Really?
Yeah, and a couple in Palm Springs, a couple in Palm Desert, Indio.
So for these inspections, especially these higher end houses, like residential buildings, like, is there a reason why you're going out there? Is it for like codes or anything, or?
Most of them, or at least for the multi-million-dollar homes I'm looking at, are new purchases.
New purchases. I see.
Yeah.
So I should probably be selling real estate out there then, huh?
Honestly, yes, because it's booming.
It's booming?
It's booming. They're building golf courses left and right, and they're putting so many, like, different 55-plus communities there.
Mm-hmm.
And all these houses are going up for, like, $500,000, $600,000 now.
That's not bad.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the market has definitely shifted. I have a house over in Highland. Yeah, if anyone is looking for a 55-plus community over in Highland off of, I think it's Highland Avenue, to be honest. Right next to right next to the Walmart out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful community. It's a gated community with security guard, and you just get some of the best views driving up because it's on the base of the mountain. You're driving up, and I have a listing up there if you guys want to check it out. It's 1,400 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath with 2 carports, one on each side of the mobile home.
Not bad.
Yeah, and it's at the very top. There's no neighbor connected to you, so you can have plenty of parking and stuff like that, and for a reasonable price. So you guys can always give me a call. My personal cell is 909-800-6006. That's 909-800-606. Now, I wanted to kind of jump back to the topic. When he gets here, he wants to, talk about being an athlete and stuff like that. And I think me and my lady were talking about, maybe it was you. I'm not too sure. But when, when people,
who he talks to.
when people dedicate their whole life and their identity to like one thing, especially like a sport, was that what you? No? Okay. Maybe maybe it was at the tartan, but for someone like
it was.
Oh,
It
okay.
was, yeah.
Who's like, who's born and raised and training day to day, every day to become something or someone in the realm of sports, like, for AJ, for example, like being a boxer.
Yeah.
And how he identifies himself. He's like, oh, I'm a boxer. Or like people who do football, like, oh, I play football, I'm a football player, things like that.
Right.
And just how it's a high risk and high reward at the same time.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because when you attach yourself and you identify yourself to something besides you, and you, let's say, only go so far, and let's say you just don't, if you don't make it,
Yeah.
then you kind of have to like reflect on your whole life, in a sense,
Yeah,
your whole
pretty much.
identity, But but honestly, I root for all the people who do that, all the people who do not have a plan B, who just do not stop, until they get what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, winning has no guarantees.
Right.
You work 110%. That does not mean you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Winning,
That's the thing too,
like, winning does not care if you're like crying, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you train more than the other guy, like, and you can still, lose against the person you're going against. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just the ability to just keep going and keep pushing. I tell myself almost every day, like, when, something happens and I'm like, it should affect me mentally. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I just tell myself, keep it pushing.
Right, exactly.
Just keep it
just gotta
going.
keep moving.
And, being a boxer, that's probably that's probably a tough one. You know, when I used to wrestle in high school, the best part about wrestling is, which is also, see, the thing is, if you're in a team sport and if your team loses, you know, you know, as a kid, and you can be immature and be like, hey, we lost because someone else. You know, you blame someone else, you know. But when you're a boxer, when you're a wrestler, it's you versus the other person. And if you lose, it's because you messed up, because you lost, you know, and you can't blame anyone else.
Yeah.
Hey, you here?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Right, my lady's going to open the door for you in the front, okay? All right.
I think the biggest thing is, too, is, like, you know, some people don't focus on why they do it.
Mm.
And I feel like if you don't focus on that at all, then the win doesn't mean anything. You know, because there's been times where I haven't had people in my corner, but I've had wins where I don't know what to do now. There's nobody to celebrate with. You know, there's, you know, where do I go? You know.
Yeah, and in terms of like money aspect, you know, a lot of people they chase the money. They're so focused on making all this money, and they're like, you know, I will take away. I'll stop hanging out with my friends, stop hanging out with my family, because this is what I really want. I want all this money, right? And they get to that point, and then they stop to smell the roses, but there's no roses.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, where is everybody? And, you know, and that's one thing. So I like what you brought up. It's like, what's your why?
Yeah.
You know, is your why strong enough to keep it going from, you know, leading you into the wrong direction, you know, keeping you distracted, blinded, you know what I mean?
Well, and like, you know, one of my favorite MMA fighters of all time is Khabib. You know, and, you know, his father always trained him, and the relationship that he had with his father is the same one I have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when his father died, you know,
Must be devastating.
you know, he could have kept going. You know, but at this point, he didn't feel like MMA was a part of him anymore. You know what I mean?
Right, because
it was something that he shared with his father.
Yeah.
And when he died, he said that, hey, this is my last fight. I don't want anyone else to train me. No, I don't want anyone else to train me. This would be my last fight, you know, and then.
Come on.
How's it going?
Come on board, brother.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, brother. Have a seat.
How's it going? Kyle.
AJ, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so our guest finally showed up.
My bad, guys.
No, you're cool. You're cool. And, yeah, so thank you, AJ, for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I was just telling all the fans here a little bit about you, but I wanted to make sure you got to really explicit who you
Yes,
are
sir.
and what
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing.
Yeah, so just introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
My name is AJ Cutthroat Catarellos. That's my moniker. I've been fighting since I was young, competing as an amateur. Started boxing when I was about 12, and really started taking it serious when I was about 20. I fought amateur 178 to 165, and my little brother competes too. It's just people don't understand what it's like. It's a different world. Like, there's casual boxing, and then there's competition boxing. Like, there's tournaments, and
Right.
it's a whole different side to it. And I really enjoy it. I recently got the opportunity to turn professional down in Mexico, and I've been training really hard. Like, people think, you know, most sports you can do other things, but, you know, this is fighting, and you can't really do anything else but fighting when you're fighting.
Right.
But other than that, you know, I grew up in Yucaipa. I knew Sam from high school. A little bit of a troublemaker. Got into some. I like to fight at school. Got kicked out of school a couple times, but I really turned it around. I credit boxing with helping me turn around. I feel like God gave me boxing because, like I said, if you're gonna box, you're not gonna be able to drink. You're not gonna be able to smoke. You're not gonna be able to party. You're just gonna box. So that really made me straighten out for sure. So I feel like that was one of the only things that could make me straighten out, because I was a little bit of a troublemaker growing up.
Yeah.
So at what point did you think or know that God was telling you to go full into boxing?
the point where I knew that God was telling me to go full into boxing is when I tried to join the Marine Corps, and there was no reason they shouldn't have let me in because I had something that was expunged when I was a kid. But they had somehow found out about it, and then I tried to join the Marine Corps over and over and over again, and then I tried to join the Army, and even the Army said no to me. And then I really started just praying and praying like, God, what do you want me to do? Because I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And then I started boxing and taking it more seriously, and I felt a peace and a calm when I boxed that I've never felt before, and it felt like what I was supposed to be doing. And God really opened doors for me when I started boxing and giving it all my all, you know?
Oh, okay.
So you tried to join the Marine Corps right after high school, huh?
Right after high school, I tried to join the Marine Corps, yeah. Yeah, and there was no reason they shouldn't have let me in. Like, I had a little charge that was expunged. It was expunged, and I was actually expelled from YHS and let back into YHS.
Right.
I had to go like before council for them to remove the expulsion, but there was no reason they shouldn't have let me into the Marine Corps, and that's one of the main things where I'm like, God was really trying to steer me away to true purpose, and through boxing I feel like I can reach kids that otherwise wouldn't listen to anyone,
Right.
because I was one of those kids. I wouldn't listen to anyone. Like, I looked up to fighters when I was younger, but lots of these kids, they're not going to listen to anyone. Like, they come into the gym really pissed off. They come into the gym really pissed off, and then, they're not even gonna listen to my coach. The coach is an older guy, but they see me sparring and they see me in shape. They see me fighting. They see me dropping people and stuff like that. Those kids will listen to me. So I feel like,
okay, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Since I'm when I'm doing it, and I'm leading by example, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can reach a lot of kids in that way. And I can preach to a lot of kids in that way that would otherwise listen to no one,
Yeah.
So who is your favorite fighter, or who is your favorite fighter?
James Toney. James Lights Out Tony.
James Lights Out Tony.
Yeah, he's a lot of people know about the Philly shell. Like Mayweather uses the Philly shell. James Toney uses it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Toney uses it better. Yeah. That's a legend
cool.
right there. Yeah.
I like that. And what gym do you train at?
I train at a PFT in Montclair. PFT in Montclair. I also teach there. I'm a coach there.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Montclair, that's a far drive, no?
It's a far drive, but it's worth it. It's worth it because, when I first met my current coach, I fought totally different. I was a pure brawler. Like, I take a lot of damage. I take a lot of punishment. Like, I've had this rib fractured. I've had this eardrum right here perforated, so I couldn't hear out of this ear properly for a while. I've had more concussions than I know.
Is that just for is that because of just like bad training, or is that just like part of the process?
I wouldn't listen to anyone. I wouldn't listen to anyone. So when I met my current coach, he was able to get me to listen somehow. So he taught me how to be slick. I'm more of a slick fighter now. I don't get hit a lot. I hit hard. That was one of my natural abilities. I've always been able to hit really hard. I've never been the fastest, but I've always been able to stop people with one shot.
Okay.
So he made me into more of a counter puncher, slick boxer. Yeah. But before, I'd literally just walk forward, and I knew I hit hard. And I had a chin. So I'd walk forward and take whatever people had to give, and so
Bang it
as long
out.
as I land my one, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's how I fought before, and it worked decent.
That's your mentality. Hey, bro, I just gotta get that one punch in.
Decent.
So if I can just take the punches, I can just pop.
Yeah, I'll take 5 of yours to land one of mine, because I know I only need one.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sensei, he told me years ago. He was like, "There's 2 reasons why people are like good fighters.
Yeah.
Like, one, it's because they love fighting, they love getting hit, they're just brawlers, they can just go. And then the other good fighter is like someone who's scared of getting hit,
Yeah.
right? So he's dodging all the punches. He's just trying to get you so he doesn't get,
Yeah. I definitely started as the one that wasn't afraid to get hit, but my coach was like, AJ, if you want to turn pro, I want to turn you pro. But, once you turn pro and you're using those lighter gloves with no headgear, you're not going to be able to take the type of shots that you take. So I need you to show me that you can be slick, and I need you to show me that you can be defensive and be a smart boxer instead of just a fighter, That's the one thing you say, AJ, you know how to fight, show me you can box. And what he meant by that is show me that you can be smart, you can play the chess game instead of the checkers,
Right.
And that's when I really made the switch, and that's when I really started, winning a lot more, getting the better of pros a lot more, And yeah, it really worked. He had a plan, and it really worked. I'm grateful that that God put him in my life.
So you said somehow you started listening to him.
Yeah.
What do you think made that happen? You know, like you weren't listening to anyone else.
Yeah, I can speak on that. There's a fighter out there named Lewis Rose. He is 24-2 as a professional right now. And, I was kind of cocky when I met my first coach when he threw me in there with Lewis. And Lewis is the slick type of fighter. And I just wasn't able to hit Lewis. And that,
Was that frustrating?
It wasn't frustrating. It was eye-opening. Because I'd never been able to just not, like, I had the mentality, like, I'll hit you and I'm going to hurt you. But I've never met anyone where I can go, 6, 7, 8 rounds, 24 minutes of fighting and not land clean one time.
Wow.
Yeah, ridiculous. And then I wanted that. And then I saw how he fought in the pros, and he doesn't take damage. And I wanted that for myself. Because I really didn't care about being slick until I met my coach and I met that dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
So would you say that's one of the your primary focus right now is learning to be more like technical and like defensive, or?
Well, that's the thing. Like when my coach started working with me, I've been boxing for a while. I studied all throughout my boxing. I watched my film. So I do drills too. Like I knew how to do it. He just had to get me to do it under pressure. Because you revert to what you know and you're comfortable doing under pressure. So he just had to work with me and bring it out of me to box like that under pressure. Because when there's people screaming, you're getting hit, and, there's a massive crowd. Obviously, it adds a little something, adds another element. But if you can be relaxed and just do what you do in the gym, you're gonna fight how you train. You're gonna train how you fight. So
Right.
if you just drill, repetition, it's gonna come out in the fight.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So you went to Mexico not too long ago, right?
No, I'm actually going to Mexico in 2 weeks.
Oh,
okay.
So
okay.
my coaches went before me, and I'm running the gym right now in Montclair. And I'm going to be sparring in front of promoters down there.
Nice.
Yeah.
dude.
and then,
Okay.
That's exciting.
Nice.
yeah, I'm really excited.
Whereabouts?
Aguascalientes, and it's in the center of Mexico.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm also going to get my lungs adjusted a little bit because elevation's way higher up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. Really grateful to God about that.
That's really awesome. And
Yeah.
and how much I know I saw some of your videos and stuff, and every time the judge or the ref is holding you guys' hands, you're pointing up.
Yeah.
How often do you think about God when you're out here training and fighting?
I love that question. Because this last tournament, California Golden Gloves, I asked God to do literally everything. The dude I went against the first day was a champ for the Air Force, and I seen that he had 40 plus fights. I got 16 fights, so I seen that he had 40 plus fights, and then I started thinking in my head, in my worldly ways, and that I just said, if it's in God's will, for me to win today, it's in God's will. I don't think He'd give me something that was bad for me. So I just trusted, and that's how I relaxed for that first day. And I got the dub. It was a good win.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And then the second day, after it was a bittersweet feeling because the second day I knew it was a 2-time national champ. He's a 2-time national champ and a Golden Glove champion in Michigan. So I was like, shoot, now I have to fight this guy. So I
You thought the other guy was hard.
yeah. And then I asked God again. God, can you please fight this one for me? I literally asked him, I remember I was cutting weight, which sucks. Cutting weight sucks, guys. That's another thing. I was cutting weight and I felt weak, and I was like, God, can you just, fight this one for me? And then, sure enough, I found stamina that I didn't think I had, and I pulled it off again.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
Another dub. Let's
Yeah, another
go.
dub. And then the third day was I walk around 182 pounds. I fight at 165. So for a tournament, you have to cut weight all 3 days. So which is brutal. It's brutal. So I was fighting, and then I didn't get a victory meal or anything. I didn't eat after the fights. So by this third day, Sunday, I was barely making weight. I had to sit in the tub for hours. I had to actually throw up the water I did have after the second day to make weight. And then I woke up in that morning for that fight, 166.8 when it has to be 165.
There's no weight allowance?
There's no weight allowance for tournaments,
Nice.
not in amateur boxing. Yeah. So I hit the sauna. With the sauna suit on, I started shadow boxing, and I just, I was like, man, I'm probably not going to make weight for this one. So before I stepped on the scale to weigh in, I asked God, like, could you please step on the scale for me? I know that sounds crazy, but like, you know, cutting weight and fighting is so brutal that
Right.
sometimes you just have to ask him, like, can you just do this for me, man? Could you just do this for me, God, please? And sure enough, I weighed in 164.8.
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
164.8.
Okay.
Yeah, I was spitting in a cup the whole way to weigh in. Yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah, wrestling days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think I was gonna make weight, and then yeah, when I made weight, I was like, oh, thank you. Like I just wanted to fight. Like I didn't care win or lose that last day. Like I was just so exhausted from not eating and not sleeping because you can't sleep when you're that dehydrated. That I just
Right.
wanted to get. I wanted to fight. So I weighed in that last day, going against another dude. He's won Golden Gloves before. He's a good fighter. A lot more fights than me, a lot more experience than me. It was a good fight. It was more of a chess match, that fight, because we were both exhausted. So I was throwing more counter punches, and I was landing hard and clean, and he was doing flurries. He was throwing flurries to score points.
Okay.
And by the end, I had ended up hurting him pretty bad because I was trying to knock him out. I try to knock out everyone I go against. I don't usually try to win by
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, technical point.
But yeah, he had won by points on the last day. But it was a good experience. I got a lot of exposure. I got a lot of people wanting to sponsor me from seeing me fight, and it worked out, And I learned a lot from those 3 days. I fought tournaments before, but I'd say this is my best consistent performance in a tournament.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
And who goes with you to these tournaments? Is it like your whole team, just one coach, or
it's just my coach.
yeah?
Wow.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just my coach. So that's a little bit of a. I like it when I walk out and no one cheers for me and my opponent walks out and they got a whole crowd. I love that. Because it makes me feel like the underdog, and I like being the underdog.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of like smile a little bit. You're like, ha.
Yeah, I like doing that. Like, you brought this whole crowd to watch this. Okay,
Okay, let's do it. That's awesome. So, your fan base is growing. You're growing as a boxer. You're going to Mexico in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yes, sir. Yeah.
Are you doing any training out there, or
Oh yeah, it's gonna be all training out there.
all training?
It's gonna be all training out there, but in front of a promoter. Cause
Nice.
when you go pro in boxing, they like to see like they want people to buy your tickets. They want people with entertaining styles, and they want people that are gonna produce knockouts. So I'm gonna have to really show out in sparring down there. I'm gonna have to be knocking people out in sparring for the promoter to want
Knocking
to sign.
people out in sparring.
Oh man, that's normal. That's common.
What?
Yeah, I
Bro, that's crazy.
knock people out in sparring all the time. all the injuries I've taken have been in sparring. I've never gotten injured in a fight.
That makes sense. Actually.
Yeah.
No,
Joe's
that-
laughing, bro. I'm so amazed by that because,
I kind of was too, but I'm not surprised too, because it's like sparring is like a skirmish. Like when you're playing soccer, like it's an actual game, but it doesn't count towards anything.
Yeah, because like I said, you train how you fight how you train. So if you're taking easy in sparring, it's not going to come out in the fight. You got to be a dog in
Right.
sparring. You got to be an animal in sparring. And I'd say the sparring, a lot of people don't know, the sparring is more brutal than the fight. You got a ref there. You got a ref there when you're fighting. There's no ref in sparring. They'll let that thing go. I've knocked people out in sparring. They give him a little, 30 seconds to get his stuff back together, and they throw him in the next round. Yeah, next round after he just got knocked out cold.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's a different. That's what I was saying. Like, it's a different world. People don't understand. Like, you see boxing on TV, but you don't understand what boxers go through. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be taking a break in about a minute here. I know Joe's a little busy. I just want to give him a little heads up. But when we come back, we're gonna continue talking about AJ and his rise to boxing here. I do want to talk a little bit about cutting weight and like fasting
Oh, yeah.
and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the mentality and just the mental stress on it, like how it goes through, like how do you prepare to like when you just not eat for how many days or something?
I don't eat the week following. To make weight for a tournament, I don't eat the week following, because what happens, your body, if you have carbs and you have salt, your body will hold on to that water. So I cut the food. I'll have protein and lettuce and stuff like that, lettuce, spinach, fruits, but no carbs and really not much at all. the week of a fight, and then you're doing it all to make weight because every other boxer is doing the same thing. If I were to fight the weight class above me, I'm about 5'10". The weight class above me, the shortest you'll see is 6'4".
Wow.
Yeah, light heavyweight, the shortest you'll really see is 6'4".
The
So,
next weight class would be light heavyweight.
Yeah, so I fight 165, which would be considered, super middleweight in the pros. But
Mhm.
light heavyweight is 176 in the amateurs, 178 in the pros. You'll see really tall dudes out there. I used to fight at 178.
Yeah.
I used to fight at 178, and the style was totally different because I was the shorter man.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, okay, but when you cut, like when you said you're cutting all this weight and like by day 3 you're dehydrated,
Yeah, 15
exhausted,
pounds.
yeah, all that stuff, like wouldn't it be more beneficial if you were like fueled and like healthy and
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You take less damage too because if you're real dehydrated when you're fighting, you get hit and there's less fluid floating around
Yeah, so
in
you
your brain.
bruise easier
Yeah,
and
you,
stuff,
you,
yeah.
you get concussed easier.
Mm.
Yeah, you'll get concussed a lot easier. So I could fight at 176, but like I said, it would be a trade-off because it would be a lot harder for me to land at 176 because they're so lanky and so tall.
Mm.
Yeah.
You'd be kind of like be chasing around the ring if anything.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
they're gonna try
yeah.
to keep their space, their distance.
Exactly. And they're also, when I did fight 176, yeah, I was a totally different fighter. That's why I said I used to just come forward and land a bomb because those 176 guys, they're so tall, I don't know if I'm going to get another opportunity to land clean.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're going to continue talking with AJ here. You are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works,
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
AJ right here, cutthroat.
and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in darker, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a bit.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Do you have a diamond ring on your finger? If so, take a second to look at it. A diamond is, without a doubt, your most ancient possession. Scientists have shown that gem-grade diamonds were created between 1 and 3.5 billion years ago. The diamond on your finger could be nearly as old as the Earth itself. Diamonds form deep within the planet, 100 miles down or more, underneath the continents. There, the pressure, temperature, and chemistry of the upper mantle create the perfect environment for diamonds at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So how did they get to the surface? Through ancient eruptions. Jets of mantle were propelled by expanding gas, some from 400 miles within the Earth, far deeper than modern-day volcanic eruptions. The eruptions blasted through these diamond zones and carried small quantities of diamonds up with them in shafts we now call kimberlite pipes. But less than 1% of the 6,000 pipes we've discovered have produced diamonds economically. All we see of the pipes today are their carrot-shaped roots, which is where we dig our most productive diamond mines. A smaller number of diamonds erode out of the pipes and end up in streams, beaches, and in undersea deposits. Offshore of Namibia, giant ships vacuum them from the seafloor. The ancient origins of this gemstone give a whole new meaning to the phrase, "A diamond is forever." Perhaps it's no coincidence that diamonds have come to represent everlasting love. I'm Scott Tinker, engaging you with Earth.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TaheeboTeaClub.com. Taheebo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTeaClub.com.
In these trying times, many people are depressed and lost because the future of our society is up in the air. If you're turning to substance abuse because you're feeling there is no hope, we have a way for you to see the light. SAD, or Stop Abusing Drugs, is a nonprofit organization that will help you at no cost to you stop abusing drugs. Founded by Tony Navarchi, SAD will refer you to the top detox doctors in your area. SAD will pay every and any cost for you, including doctor visits, counseling, and medications. If you need help, SAD is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you or a loved one needs help, or if you have a suggestion or idea for Tony, you can reach out to him by calling 844-493-3386. That's 844-493-3386. Or email Tony at tony@saddetox.com. That's Tony at SADDETOX.com.
Every Wednesday at 3 p.m., it's the Uncommon Sense Democrat with host Eric Bauman.
I love when his people talk about how old Joe Biden is. But he's just a couple years behind him.
You'll get the best political commentary and stuff like this.
Good night, Donald Trump. Well, it's time to go.
Join us for the Uncommon Sense Democrat every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the stations that leave no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
Cutthroat Catarolos.
Cutthroat Catarolos. My boy, man, drove back all the way from high school.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other since high school. I ran into him at EOS not too long ago. If you guys are just tuning in, if you guys want to go back to listen to the first half of the show, I highly recommend it. This is AJ Cutthroat over here. He's a boxer. He's gonna start turning. Are you gonna start going pro pretty soon?
I'm going pro in May, yeah.
In
Turning
May?
pro in May, yeah.
Going
Okay,
pro
there we
in
go.
May. You guys gotta follow him, watch his fights. He's gonna be going to Mexico here pretty soon as well.
Yep.
Man, he has a lot of stuff going on. And before we went on break, we were talking about him, cutting weight and fasting and all this stuff. And I just want to touch up a little bit on that. It's not easy, bro. Like,
No.
you're like, spinning in a cup
Yeah.
all day and
No,
trying
no.
to, like, that's fun though.
It's the least fun part of fighting, I'd say. They call it the fight, the fight before the fight. Like, it literally feels like a fight. Like, the way I cut weight the quickest is I'll get water boiled, like, pretty much as hot as you can tolerate in the tub. You pour Epsom salt in it. You put Abilene on your skin, which opens up your pores. And you just sit in that tub. And you can lose, like, 5 pounds in, like, 15 minutes because it just opens up your pores and drains you of everything. Like, if you look at my face, my phone doesn't recognize it as the same person as when I'm hydrated. So it says two different people.
Wow.
It's two different people on my phone. Me cutting weight and then me hydrated. My face will change. I look skeletal when I cut weight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were on break, he was actually telling me, because, man, I knew this guy since high school, and I've always seen him, like, in his, like, this figure,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen him in a while. He's like, yeah, dude, my heaviest was, like, 240. I'm
Yeah.
like, 240, bro?
Yep.
And he was showing me pictures. I was like, what a dog. Because
Yeah.
he says he has a heavy hand. He's a heavy hitter.
Yes, sir.
And seeing him at 240, I'm like, no wonder, bro. you lost the size, but you kept the power.
People tell me that a lot. Like I spar you, and like you walk around about like a middleweight, but you hit like a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
people tell me I hit like a heavyweight. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I've broken rib cages. I've put people out. More times than I can count, just with a shot that I didn't put too much steam on. Like it's a natural power that I carry. Yeah.
Does it feel good, like mentally, like hurting someone, like out in the ring?
Does it feel good hurting
Joe,
someone?
why are you laughing?
So if it's a sparring partner that I knocked out, obviously I know he's trying to knock me out too, but that's still my buddy. So I don't like the feeling of knocking out my sparring partners. I do like the feeling of, yes, I'm sharp right now, and yes, I'm effective right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel good knocking out a sparring partner. Does it feel good knocking out someone in a fight, stopping someone in a fight? Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does.
Have you damaged someone to the point where like you literally felt bad? You're like, man, I hurt this kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's been one time where it was a greener boxer. When I say green, that means he's less experienced. He was greener, but he's real huge. He was huge. He was walking around 220. He was about 6'5". So I was like, you know what, AJ, like, but you can put it on him because he's big. You know, he's big. He could probably take it, and he stopped boxing.
He stopped boxing.
Yeah, I dropped him about 6 or 7 times, and he had stopped boxing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt bad about that because, like, if that happened to me when I first started and someone broke me mentally like that, like, we wouldn't be here today. And, like, that kind of put it into perspective for me. Like, it's a skill sport. It's a skill sport. Like, size can only get you so much. If you have overwhelming skill, it's not going to matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And truthfully, man, honestly, like, if someone went through that and they stopped boxing,
yeah,
like, good. Like, in that sense, because imagine if that didn't happen to him and he's still going through it, and then it's really that test of like if you're gonna stay or not.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Because I thought about it more because it did, like, I did feel really bad about it, and I've been there too, and I'm still here. I'm still boxing.
Yeah.
I've been there too. I've taken some bad beatings, and I'm still here. So, like, maybe it was his little introduction, not so much an introduction, his finale.
Well, like, his conclusion.
Yeah, his conclusion, yeah.
Boxing.
But,
well, like, sometimes I feel like God puts people in your life to show them a lesson too.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
Well, God's trying to put you on the right path. Like,
yeah. Like, it'd be the equivalent of me getting denied from the Marine Corps so many times,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
But,
so.
Joe, and with me, like, my brother, he's a machine gunner in the Marine Corps.
That's awesome.
And
0331.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to be an 0331. Yeah.
Dude,
I wanted to be an 0331.
it's pretty cool. And, like, I was just gonna follow his footsteps. You know? And then I got blood clots and all this stuff, and I got denied in every branch. And it's like, imagine if I would have went to the Marine Corps just because my brother went to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good reason.
Yeah.
That's not why you should.
Yeah.
Boxing, you've been doing it your whole life, and God was like, no, he put you back on that path.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And
yeah, for sure. Because, I started when I was young, but I never really took it serious until later, until I felt like I had to take it serious, until it became my way to vent. And then, I really feel like he called me. He herded me towards that direction. And I feel like I can do the most good here. I can pull the most people towards him here.
Yeah. So, speaking of, like, relationships, okay, so boxing, you're clean, you don't smoke, you don't drink anymore, you don't party.
No.
But do you have like a lady in your life or anything like that?
Here and there. I just got out of a long-term relationship, but it's also really difficult to have a girl while you box. It's very difficult to have a girl while you box because like I said, no one gets it, and especially your spouse is not going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to get, like, oh, he's going to be working out all day. Like, that makes no sense to people. All right, we can't eat this. We can't go to the bar. I can't smoke with him. He's going to be too tired. He sleeps this much. Like, it's extremely difficult, It's extremely stressful in relationships. That's why, a lot of coaches will just straight up say, I don't want you having a girlfriend. If they're going to take you pro, they're going to take you to shows and stuff like that. You're not allowed to have a girlfriend or, find another coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can also be, like, distracting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a good I mean, it is another good reason why you should, become the man who you are, when you have someone to fight for or you're
Right,
doing it
yeah.
for,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're kind of doing it for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lady that I like.
I like how you're smiling, bro.
I
You're
have a
rubbing your
lady that I
hands.
like. I love.
You got a little crush.
I love her. Yeah, yeah. But like I said, it's really stressful, and I can't give it everything because I could give the relationship everything, but if I get hurt, nothing's gonna matter.
Right, exactly.
If my health goes, nothing's gonna matter. So
And like you can't really force your partner to go all the way with you.
no, especially
know.
not for boxing.
Yeah.
My mom can't watch me get hit. My girl can't watch me get hit. Like,
Right.
they don't enjoy it, but they know that okay, AJ loves it, and AJ's gonna stick with it no matter what we tell him. So we have to support him. That's more of what it's like, until it gets too hard to support me.
Who's someone in your life that you feel like God put in your path besides your coach?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I feel like my good sparring partner, my good training partner, his name's Rocco. He's a national champ, heavyweight. He's younger than me, but that dude's like my brother. I have a brother, but he's also like my brother. He pushes me too, and we push each other because, like I said, this is a stressful sport. So
Right.
like when we do fall off, he keeps me accountable, and I keep him accountable. Because if we were just trying to do it by ourselves, trying to push off our own will without someone there pushing us, it's impossible. The stuff that you have to do. But so I'm grateful to God that He put Rocco in my life.
Can you go through like an everyday routine?
Yes, I can.
Alright,
You want a
break it-
Monday?
Yeah, give me a Tuesday, bro.
A Tuesday? Okay, I'll give you a Tuesday. So usually Monday is going to be a sparring day for me. So I'll wake up, I'll
Okay.
spar, and then I'll do all my road work and strength conditioning after. But on a Tuesday, I'll wake up, I'll hit a 6-mile run at a steady pace, which so like a 9 to 10 minute pace. That's just to get the weight off. After that, I'll hit a HIIT session, which is high intensity interval
okay.
training. So about 10 to 11 sets of full blast 30-second sprints. And in between every sprint is a minute rest. After that, I'll hit the boxing gym, and then I'll stay in the gym for about 3 to 4 hours, hitting the bag, shadow box. I'll work on defense. So I'll just have people throw at me, and I don't throw back. I just move around. And after that, I'll hit EOS again, and I'll do my strength and conditioning, which is more like I'll do landmine press. I'll do everything explosive so I can maintain the power. And then I'll go home. I'll take a cold plunge, it's like an ice bath, except it keeps the water cold at all times. It's like a 37-degree water, yeah. So it helps me recover. And then after that, I'll cook my food, and I'll go to sleep. And if I have the time, I'll do film study.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you only eat like once a day or what?
No, I eat before training in the morning, and then I eat at night. So twice a day most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy because you're basically you have what, like 8 hours of not eating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I will do if I feel like I push too hard in one particular session, I carry honey with me. And honey's like a quick source of energy. So I'll do honey before sparring too. And it gives me a little push.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Monday sparring, Tuesday. I like the whole you run for 6 miles, then you do HIIT training.
Yeah.
Cause like, have you ever been completely exhausted in the ring?
That's what pushes you.
Yeah.
This is why I tell all the kids that I teach, you can get tired here when we're training, or you can get tired while someone's beating you in a corner.
Yeah.
Like, which one would you rather have? You're still going to be the same level of tired, but now someone's hitting you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so I rather, that's how I push in training. Like, I remember all the times where I've had no energy left, no steam left, and someone's just wailing on me, and I have, like, maybe 2 minutes, a minute and a half left in the round, and I just have to take it.
Do you look at the time?
Oh, yeah. If I'm that dead, yes, I'll be looking at the time, yes.
Man, you're like, oh no, we got another minute and a half.
Yeah.
And that probably goes like watching a minute and a half fight doesn't really seem that long, but like fighting for a minute and a half,
That's
like
an eternity.
That probably feels like an hour at the ring.
That's like,
especially if you're just getting beat, bro, you're just
Oh,
like that
man.
probably is like a lifetime. it feels.
Yes, exactly. So like 30 seconds will literally feel like 15 minutes if you're getting hit and you're not responding or you're not boxing and you feel that tired. It's it's a different. You remember those times. You remember what that feels like. You remember that desperation, and that's what's gonna push you for when you're tired. Like I'll be running. I don't know. I'll be running out. I get tired, and I remember those times. You remember them. You remember, the injuries. You remember how long you have to take off because you were out of shape. You remember those types of things. And same principle applies when you feel like you gotta go take a drink or something. Your friends invite you out to the bar. Like, no, you remember those times when you tried to do both. You tried to party and you tried to box, and it didn't work out. It does not work out. It doesn't work out. Like, casually you can do it. Yes, casually you can do it. But if you're gonna compete, especially here in SoCal, where this is a hot spot for boxing in the country, amateur boxing specifically, if you're gonna compete here, you have to be sharp. You have to be tip top. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are some things that you do to kind of help you mentally, whether in the ring or sparring or, just on a weekly basis?
I'd say the most important thing if you want to perform is being calm. So everything I do is being calm. So I hit a little warm up. I'll do something called Wim Hof breathing. Wim Hof breathing helps you really calm down. It's a breathing technique. It helps you expand your lungs also. Also do cold plunge if I'm going to have a hard spar or a match, because the ice also activates adrenaline. It gets rid of the anxiety. And a big thing for me is, just trusting in God, because if you're going to try and do it your way, and you're going to try and do it, you're going to try and control every little factor, you'll drive yourself insane. You just have to trust and, believe that his plan's the best plan, and, just go with it. That's how I keep myself calm. Yeah, that's how I keep myself calm.
So you even calm? Okay, so like with me, when I'm calm, like my body's calm as well. So
Yes.
like if I'm training or even if I'm working out at the gym, like if I'm like calm-minded,
Yeah.
then you can see me physically, like, okay, I'm not like pumped up and just like
Yeah.
explosive,
Yeah.
So are you the same when it comes to like boxing and training and stuff? Are you a little more just like smooth at it when you're calm?
Yeah, for sure. Because not only does it improve your performance when you're calm, your opponent can see when you're, anxious. And then I know myself, when I see that my opponent's anxious, it gives me a little confidence boost. So it's kind of a downward spiral if you can't keep yourself calm, because he's going to get more confident when he sees that you're anxious. And also, you can't take a punch as well when you're tense. You want to be loose. You want to be able to move around. You want to be able to see things coming. If you're tense and you're anxious, you're not going to see anything coming, and you're not going to be able to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So me being calm, I know that me being anxious and me worrying is not going to do anything for me. It's actually going to hurt me. So why worry? Like, it's not going to help me. Why worry?
Do you remember your very first boxing match?
I do.
How did you feel before you went in?
Walking up the steps, I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't feel my legs.
Really?
I was that anxious. Yeah, I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't feel my legs.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I remember getting hit hard the first time in that match, and then the juices started flowing a little bit, like the adrenaline started to kick in, and then I
kind of woke up a little bit.
A little pre-workout. Yeah.
It's called pre-punch.
Yeah, it works. It works. That little, you get popped, and some people are different. Like they get popped, and then like they start, getting timid. But me, I've always gotten, whenever I get hit hard, that activates something in me where I start flowing a little better. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I remember one of my first matches when I was doing like Kempo, like karate and all that stuff. Man, I was a white belt.
Yeah.
And they put me up against green and purple belts, bro.
Yeah.
And my first match, like right before it started, like I was getting anxious too. I was getting cold sweats, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
I went in the bathroom and the stall was like locked. Bro, I almost passed out. Because I was so anxious. It was crazy, But like once you get into it, like once you wake up, you're in the game.
Yeah.
So you got the juices flowing. So, hey, before we leave, what's your Instagram? How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at AJKATERELOS.
Awesome, guys. All right, well, hey, AJ, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for the opportunity.
I want you to come back when you come back from Mexico.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Awesome, and then bring your coach too. bro.
Yeah,
So-
I'll bring my coach on. Yeah,
Oh,
he runs
yeah,
my.
definitely.
He'll tell you something about me when he first met me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, you guys, we're wrapping it up here. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys take care. Enjoy your Sunday and stick around for Ferran's show at 8 o'clock. Happy Sunday.
But you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay.
Miss something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
Hi, I'm food critic Alan Borgen, and I'm excited to tell you about Ray's Shanghai Bistro in Redlands. Ray's Shanghai Bistro offers the largest and most delicious array of traditional and original Chinese dishes